record reflect this is properly posted according to the Texas Open Meetings Act. If you'll join me in a moment of silence, please. Thank you. We'll move into our workshop portion of this meeting. Looks like the first person of state accountability, Ms. Horowitz.
So this is the 5th year of implementation of STAR, and just on Friday they released the STAR, some of the STAR data. I want to give you a heads up that some of the data has not been released, things like distinguished recognitions. Some of the other data tables have not yet been released from the state. We will not be here until mid-September, so just bear with us. What we do have is to find out that I want to give you some information. First of all, in order to meet standard, all of the schools in Sherman ISD met standard, which is the highest rating there is in the state of Texas. All schools also met the rating criteria for the 4 performance indexes this year. And a school has to meet, or a district is required to meet 1 or 2, index 1 or 2, and 3 and 4. All of Sherman ISD schools met all 4, which is a very good thing. The first index is student achievement. That is STAR performance data. Basically, it is a mathematical formulation taken of all the tests that have been given in a school or a district, the number of students that are given, and what kind of test it is, and it is given a mathematical number, and that's the STAR satisfactory performance number. Index 2 is a student progress index. It's student progress is satisfactory or advanced performance levels. Basically, that is, did the student make 1 year's growth or more than 1 year's growth? If we get points for 1 year, we get points for more than 1 year. So obviously we want to do that. Closing the performance gaps is the achievement gaps measured for satisfactory and advanced levels. And again, we get additional points for each one of those on each different test. Now this year it was a little different with all of those things because we've added 2 tests that were never counted before. One is the STAR A, which is the STAR test that is, it's an alternative to an academically, the different tests for kids who are special education or 5 or 4 students, and the STAR All, which is for much more involved students in special education. That data was included. The other thing that was included was math scores. Math scores in 3 through 8 had not been included for the past 2 years because of how the tests and how the techniques were changing. So those were included this year. The fact that we did as well as we did is a huge statement from our teachers and the commitment that they put into making sure these things happened. The 4th index is post-secondary readiness, meeting the final level 2, which is the highest level you can get on a STAR, which is the post-secondary readiness standard on 2 or more subject areas. That's the advanced level. With students, you get points for how many students make that. You get points for our graduation rates, which we know are very high. We get points for high school plans, with the percentage of regular high school plans, the performance of distinguished plans, or foundational plans with endorsements. We get points and additional connections for earned credit in 2 advanced or dual credit courses. Those are the AP courses, AP Physics, AP Calculus. If a student takes 2 or more of those, we get additional points for that. If a student takes a dual credit course, which is a course that goes through Grayson County or another university or college, they will get credit for that. We get a lot extra points for that on the mathematical formula. And finally, the piece that we get extra points for, so to speak, is that students are enrolled in a sequence of 2 or more CTE courses. So like our manufacturing program, we want to have them start at the beginning and take 2 courses in sequence, and they've done that for 2 years, or they've done that in 2 semesters. In architecture, it might be architectural, principles of architectural and construction, and then architecture and design. So it's just 2 sequence courses, and we get additional points for those. It's a very complex mathematical formula that creates, what happens is they give us a target to reach. And as you can see, the targets are a moving target over time. So last year, student achievement, index 1, was a 60. This year's student achievement target is a 60 as well. For student progress, this is one that changes. This is one that has increased significantly. The district needs progress of a 20. In 2015, in 2016, we need 22 points. And as you can see from the elementary, all the 2015 targets to the 2016 targets, those have gone up. Again, we're really proud of our teachers and our students because they met all of that. They hit all those additional targets. This is the one where it includes the year or 1 year or more growth. And it includes all of those tests. And then the closing performance gaps, this is also a moving target, and you can see sometimes it went up and sometimes it stayed the same. So an example is middle school was 27 in 2015, but middle school was 26 in 2016, and that's based on the amount of information the state gets. And finally, our post-secondary readiness scores, which again have increased from 2015, the way we're given credit for them. The district needs 60, the high school needs 60. Elementaries, we get 13 and 12, or 12 and 13, and then the parent, which is any alternative education school, has a special coding, and so they have to get a 33, which includes graduation and dropout rates. So those schools have a little bit more power in what numbers they have to get. And the good news is, we met them all. So we're very proud of our students that they did that. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Actually, I had a few things. So, thank you, Susan, for the presentation. Board members, I think it's important you may get questions in the public because this is a very complex rating system. And you saw the index scores that were there. Those are not percentages or percentiles of performance. It's a complex formula that evaluates our student test scores. Achievement is just strictly, are they achieving on those tests? Progress, each student year to year, are they growing academically? And then closing the performance gaps with all of the subgroups that we measured our test scores. And then post-secondary readiness, that's the indicator where we've received the distinction as a district last year in the top 2%. So all of that together, we're pleased to say that we met all of those standards in all of those areas, and it's indicative of the hard work of our teachers and students.
So are those standards or ratings, are they statewide, or is that done on an performance basis per our high school, or is that all high schools?
It's all high schools. All high schools have to meet the same standard. So all of those numbers are statewide. And that is a difficult thing for people to understand, that 60 is not 60%.
So even with parent,
Well, it says parent, but it's any alternative education school.
We get greater analysis in September, is that what you've done?
We will have data tables and some greater analysis, at which point we will also have how the elementary schools are compared to the top, there are 25 schools that they're compared against across the state that are similar to them, and then we will get distinctions at that point. So there'll be more data coming in as we get more and more, as they flesh it all out in the state.
Susan, would you talk about how our teachers and principals use the data that we get?
So one of the things that we do is we look at the data and we look at our high points and we look at our low points and we look at what our growth is. And then we make instructional decisions about it. We look at what interventions our students need immediately. Our teachers are doing a lot of formative assessment, which means assessment over in small group, little chunks of time, so that they are concentrating on our areas we need to continue to grow in. They individually look at how interventions for individual kids, how interventions are created for whole groups of students. Our principals use that data to sort children and decide which classes kids need to go into at times. And then mostly our teachers use it on a weekly basis to look and make sure that they are aligning everything they're doing with what the achievement level. Obviously, it's not the end-all be-all. STAR is not the end-all be-all because it cannot test all of the TEKs that we are assigned for every grade level. but it gives us a good format to how we can ask questions of students and what we can do to make sure they're thinking and working at the high rigorous level that it expects of us, and we always want to go above and beyond that. And I think this shows that our teachers have been doing that.
The 25 districts you mentioned for comparison, who decides that, us? or
The state does.
It's all over the state, right?
Yes, it's all over the state, so it could be Sherman with A-Leaf, with, so it's all over the state, and they're designed by similar populations, so it's based on our demographics. And then they'll design, so Sherman ISD will have a set of 25 schools, and then Surrey will have a set of 25 schools. The elementaries don't, and then Devlet will have a set, and they may not be the same as Surrey. Okay, so each individual school is assigned a set of 25 comparison schools. Some may be in Sherman, some may not. It's just wherever they are similar to. So it's not, unless you know what you're looking at, it's difficult to say, but you can see which schools are similar, but they're not the same. Surrey doesn't have the same as Wakefield doesn't have the same as Fairview, even though when you look at the populations, there's enough, they're very good at figuring out all the details.
So if they changed the comparisons, it could possibly change the scores, correct?
The scores will not change. The comparisons are only for distinctions, so it will just, and then we're looking to be in the top 5% of those 25 to get our distinctions, and that's what we're looking for.
Seems
So
a little
that's
complicated.
It's rather complicated, yes.
Well, the rigor of a good comparison group, though, is good when we get to the top 5%.
And when we get our comparison groups for this district and for the schools, I'll share the ones with the district for sure, you'll see. And it does help. I've seen it's very helpful to see how those go together.
Great. Other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Look forward to more data.
You too.
Smalskas, I think we're up next. TASB policy updates.
So this update involves, or this presentation involves update 105 and 106 with some routine policy changes and then some specific policies that Dr. Smalskas will call your attention to.
Good evening, I'm Tammy Smalskas. I think this is my first opportunity to present to you. I'm honored to be here and I'm excited, and as Dr. Hicks mentioned, I'm here to give you kind of a heads up to update 105 and 106 that has come down from the last legislature. And all of this is resulting from ESSA, which is the Every Student Succeed Act, which is replacing the No Child Left Behind. And that was signed into law December 10th of 2015, okay? So what I'm about to show you, first I want to go through everything I've provided for you, and if you're at a computer, those are hyperlinks to the electronic versions of some of the documents that I've provided for you. But you've been given an instructional sheet, and on that instructional sheet will list all of the policy, both legal and local, that is being requested by TASB Policy Services for changes. And if you notice, there are 64 that need to be changed. 52 are policy legal, which that's set in stone. We don't have to do any action on that. Of the 64, 11 are local, which will require future board action and approval. And so today what I'm going to do is highlight 5 of those just to bring to your attention when you're looking at some of the information that I provided for you. Our local policy comparison packet that's provided for you, basically that to me is the most easiest document to look at. And you'll see blue and red on that document where you can see the new language versus old language being struck out with red, as well as I provided the explanatory notes. That might be a little bit more than you want to look at, but basically it's legal and local, and it gives you an explanation of all of the reasons why TASB is recommending some of those changes. So some of the highlights, like I said, I'm going to mention 5 of these that I really want to bring to your attention, but the majority of the highlights is terminology, everything moving from No Child Left Behind to ESSA. And so that's in that, the one document I provided for you, the local policy, or the explanatory notes, and that, you'll see as you look through it, a lot of it is terminology. Beginning with BJCF local, this is the local policy that addresses the non-renewal of the superintendent contract. and the revisions made for the non-renewal to match DFBB local, so making sure that that aligns, the languages all align, and changes to the list of the protected characteristics to align with the legal precedents regarding all of the protected areas, okay? BQ local, at the district and campus level, committees involved in the development improvement planning, and so what they're really highlighting here is terminology, again, from parent involvement to more parent engagement in all of our local planning documents, such as the district improvement plan, campus improvement plans, etc. Moving to CLE local, this is the one that requires us to make sure that we have provided both the Texas and American flags in all of our classrooms. So that's a new policy recommendation, and that must be provided when the Pledge of Allegiance is being recited in the classrooms. EHBD local, that addresses the Title I comparability of services to ensure that each campus receives comparable state and local resources. And we're already following this practice already, but that's just an area to highlight to the school board. FDC local, revisions to the students who are homeless. Basically, it goes into our McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, making sure that all of our decisions are what's in the best interest of the student, and you'll see that language used throughout that local policy. So from that, what I want you to do is take a look to make sure that all of the provisions that are being suggested for local is what you would support, and that we will move to that at our next meeting. Moving to Update 106, and Update 106 has kind of been in limbo. Actually, at 3:50 today, I got another update that this just got finalized 2 days, so your packet's a little bit delayed, but I will update you as I talk through this. But it's a result of Senate Bill 507, and that is the video surveillance of special education classes. So I'm not sure if you're familiar that this is resulting that we have to make sure that in the event that it's requested to have our certain special education settings videotaped, that we're ready for that. And so what I did for y'all is I provided you a draft version, which I did get here at 3:50, but basically it is recommended that we provide language in our local, and what I'll do is update this before our next board meeting for y'all, but basically it came out at 3:50 today that we ensure that we have systems in place where we promote the safety of students and that our recordings are kept for 6 months, and some of those pieces, again, I'll provide that for you before our next board meeting when we have to take action. But we also must have exhibits available for process in terms of the initial request made for the video installation, the form letter to notify our campus staff and parents that are affected by this, as well as the incident reporting that will trigger the district's obligation to determine the alleged incident occurred in the classroom. And so I've been working with Ms. Allen, and we are working with Walsh and Gallegos. They have some really good documents that are already been advised from attorneys as to what to produce for y'all. So what I've done is also included your chapter 103, which again, you can see in that update what they're striking and what they're adding to that law. And so we just have to be ready in the event. So those are the two updates that, do you have any questions?
You're going to bring this back to us for September action, but is there a deadline out there, we're just ahead of time, or just by the fall?
No, sir. Legal's already done, legal's in. It's just local, and we just have to move to accept some of those changes, and you need to have some time to review that.
On the one that you had in there is parent engagement versus involvement. I was reading while you're talking. Is it your sense that will there be a metrics or something that comes with engagement versus involvement, or are we just changing
It's
words
just
to change words?
terminology.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad someone's busy in the government.
Yeah.
Any other questions? This is Mr. Wilson's favorite area, so make sure he has all the information he needs when he votes next month.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
thank you.
I'll show you some photos. Crutchfield Elementary, we replaced over 100 vinyl floor tiles throughout the building in the areas that were damaged. We replaced and repaired the soffit and fascia on the 86 edition. Dillingham, we removed the carpet from the sped room, a cool down room, and put vinyl, actually rubber floor tile down. And then we built and installed cubicles in the ISS classroom. Jefferson Elementary, we removed playground equipment that was damaged from the July 9th storm, and then we resurfaced the wood flooring in the office. Fairview, we built a third cool-down room for the behavioral classrooms, and then we installed a concrete pad and freezer for food service. Washington, we removed a tutorial room and enlarged the classroom area. Administration building, we converted a storage room and special ed into an office. And then Pioneer, we removed some ceramic tile from the smokestack out front that had degraded and started falling off. Sherman High School, we installed a new portable classroom, including electrical service, decking, and ramp. Repairing the paint walls and seat halls, about 28 classrooms. We ordered and arranged installation for a 20 by 60 storage building for career and technology. And we ordered and arranged installation of new steam wells and for the serving lines, and that included plumbing and electrical for cafeteria. Parking lot repairs, we're on our 5th year of resurfacing parking lot, so we've got another 32,000 square feet done. And then we repainted the principal's and assistant principal's office, and we coordinated the repainting of freshman football lockers. Other things we did was parking lot lining at Crutchfield, Washington, Pioneer Middle School, the service center, and the front of SHS. And then we did our natural gas checks. We're supposed to do those every other year, but we continue to do them every year because we always find leaks. It's a good safety procedure for us, and it saves the district money. Kitchen bin head systems, that's an annual check for the fire suppression systems. Fire extinguishers, the annual inspections, and we just completed our annual fire marshal inspection. Sherman High School water damage, we coordinated and took care of the restoration and repair of 20 classrooms, the textbook room, 2 AP offices, the Bearcat Bistro, the Culinary Arts Kitchen, and the corridors on A and H. Here's a few pictures of what we got. I'd like to start off with graduation. We slid in there. We were really worried about the weather. I mean, it was 15 inches of rain in May, and we got it in.
We knew you had it, no problem.
The doctor did it too.
He's worried about
Good
it.
luck, John.
More and more clouds next time.
Yeah, I was just happy.
Too much clouds.
This is at Crutchfield. If you notice the fascia up there, after a windy weekend, we came in and about 100 foot of that had fallen off, and we got a contractor in there to repair that. That's the repair there. We still like the gutters. Fairview, it's the behavioral classroom. This is the third room over there, and we went in and put the cool down room in a little storage closet for them. That's the outdoor walk-in cooler we installed. This is Washington. This is the room we converted. We removed the walls on the left and enlarged it a little. It's a smaller classroom, but I think it's a pull-out classroom, tutoring and stuff. Those are the cubbies we built for Dillingham. This is the office and service center. Sherman High School, these are 2 of the classrooms on C that we painted. These are the old lockers, or the lockers we had repainted. This is after it's finished. We also went ahead and repainted that dressing room while we had those lockers up. The storage building that we had installed for CTE. And the portable building, minus the deck. Parking lot repairs, we got the area around the new gym and athletics, and right there around the guard shack. Turned out good. And then the water damage, kind of explain a little bit what happened. The picture on the left is on top of the hall classroom. And it's got a drain there on the right that's attached underneath. And it slipped, come down, just got a little 6-inch boot that holds it on. And it dropped in amongst that storm we had on July 9th. This is after we put it back together. All toting those up is a little roof hoop there on the right. We went through and reinforced that with some unistrut. So hopefully these two won't fail again. This is just some pictures of the water damage. This is Ms. Robinson's room. This is the room where the drain came loose. Just other pictures. Pulled all the carpet. It sat all weekend, no air conditioning, so when we got there, it was bad. The smell was bad, yeah. So, got out quite a bit of sheetrock. Took the laminated panels off the walls and the corridors. Had to cut sheetrock out of there as well. Finally got it put back together last week. It started coming together with the paint. This is the AP office on A Hall. And this is Mrs. Robinson's room after it was repaired. So, still the pictures there. This is the H Hall AP office, H Hall classrooms. It's A Hall corridor on the right. After we got that hallway waxed, it's pretty well put back together. New corridors on H Hall. Floors haven't got wax on them yet, but we're close. We'll have them done this week. Any questions?
Questions?
Another boring summer.
Yeah.
Mr. Conrad, how many people are on our maintenance team? I know we contract some of the work out, but
We got about 68 custodial staff and then 12 maintenance and 9 ground.
so most of the repair work that we're seeing would have been accomplished by the 12 if it were not contracted out.
Yes,
That's a significant amount of work for 12 people.
yes, sir.
So I would like to commend the entire maintenance and operations team. The work that's been done round the clock on the water damage at Sherman High School has been incredible, and we contracted that out mostly. But when it comes to putting everything back together so teachers can walk in and run, our team stepped up again over the weekend. Today, Mr. Conrad reorganized the team, and people were there with teachers. How can I help? Tell me what to do, and they had manpower at their ready. So
I had a lot of help. We got a good group of men and women.
very committed and strong leadership. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You didn't have anything on the Bearcat Stadium, I noticed the light pole's back up.
It is back up, and it's ready to go. We got it up about 2 weeks after graduation, after rain finally let up, and got it in there, got it set. Yes, sir.
Also, Scott Muzzin, when we do this, I want to commend Scott too. And I mean, this guy was around the clock, not just during the week, but weekends and around the clock. You know, it takes a lot to make sure that contractors are where they're supposed to be and that there's enough of them the way it was intended to be in the beginning of the project. It didn't always turn out that way, but to have someone like Scott on the phone with them all the time, checking out, making sure we have crews out there, making sure they're working around the clock like they were, said that they would do. And so without Scott watching over this project and making sure, because many of times it took a call and the next thing you know, there's a force there. And so without that and without Scott's due diligence and him being out there weekends and evenings and all the time, I'm certain we wouldn't be where we are today. So I'm appreciative of Scott too and his leadership on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Anything else? Well, for reasons permitted under the Texas Open Meetings Act, we will adjourn in closed session. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Close, close. Session, let the record reflect, just after 7 o'clock. Stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Whatever they said is accurate. Do we have any presentation from the public this evening? Seeing none, we'll go into the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Spot. Our first item on our agenda is recognition of our staff. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Bennett.
Thank you, appreciate it. We are always excited to receive money. So we are excited here tonight. We have Reese Foods with us, and we have developed a pretty good partnership over the last couple of years. Christy Perkins is here from Reese Foods, and her husband Mike, he's a wonderful photographer. Last year, all the grants that we had, we actually drove around to all the schools and awarded those grants, and Mike took photos and we posted those. This year around, and I thought we just bring them here and bring all the teachers and principals here of all those folks that are winning, being awarded these mini grants from Reese Foods, and do it here in front of the board. So we're really happy that Reese Foods came out, and they are a very generous partner, I say, in our greater Texoma community. They're based in Denison. That's okay. We love to receive money from Denison. So we, over the last, I think, Reese Foods opened up the grants for more schools outside in the Grayson County area, and we put the word out, and our teachers, kudos to our teachers, they are really energetic when it comes to applying for grants and getting grants. And so we had a lot of folks getting those grants last year, and once again, opened it up, and we had a lot of teachers that received those grants this year. So we asked the principals to come out and the teachers to come out. And so first, I want to have Christy Perkins come up and just say a couple of words, few words here about Reese Foods Mini Grants Program, and then you're going to get to give out that money. But now, once we give the money out, teachers, you have to give the checks back to us, but we promise we'll get it back to your school. So that's how we do that, and we're also going to have folks come down here and take photos. So Christy, tell us a little bit about the program, and then we'll start awarding the money.
Okay. Reese Foods is a manufacturing facility in Denison, so I'm sure you're all aware. But through Reese, we have a nonprofit side, which is Reese for Kids. And our two primary functions are children and education. And we do scholarships, which this past year we awarded 135 $1,000 scholarships in a 50-mile radius, which your students got some. Denison, we went as far as Tushka and Tishomingo, over to Honey Grove and down. So I have been everywhere. There's a song about it. And I can't sing it, so Britton, you'll have to. Anyway, through our mini grants program, it is actually team member contributions that we pull together to then give the opportunity to the teachers in Grayson County to apply for mini grants for programs in their classrooms that, otherwise they would be trying to fund out of their own pockets. And we had 29 applicants this year, and we have 18 awardees, 9 here. So I think that's pretty cool. Y'all rock. That's the only way you say it. And programs from new safe equipment to ESL classes. So it's all good stuff that your teachers are doing. We are working hard to partner with the schools to help increase the education of our students in our area. And as I've been working on demographics lately for things that we're doing, right at 47% of our employees are from Sherman zip codes. So again, we're doing more here because of the impact that we have with y'all. So with that, I have mini grants and bags. I have this shameless plug with a bag, a cap, and a cup. So, y'all can remember us all year long. Anyway, my first teacher would be Keisha Jenkins from Fred Douglass. She would like to have new and safe PE equipment for her students, so we're gonna try to help make that happen.
Feel free to go get that to her and take this bag and put it down there.
Which way are you gonna stand?
I think we're gonna stand with these gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, guys, on three. Eyes open. 1, 2, 3.
Got it?
Good.
All right.
This is kind of what you gotta do.
Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, you're not funny.
And our next teacher, and I guess we're gonna do one school at a time, because I've got Henry Sorey, but I have Ruth Vasquez for her life science specimens, so I think they're gonna try to dissect those.
He's the board president.
He can do that. Now we're gonna do that, and just kind of, you can hold on to.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you. And you get to do that. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Back to you. Matthew Lowing, and I think this would be our only male teacher that we have in our group. I'm not sure what that is.
1, 2, 3.
Emily, oh, don't make me say this one. Ritzwaller?
She couldn't make it. Okay. I hope it's a song.
Okay. And as I say, special education, life skills, so. You still get your picture taken.
She's your best day.
Yeah, you get to get all the money.
1, 2, 3.
Take that one. Thank you. And then from Jefferson School, Randy Evans. And she's doing the intro of future reading.
One, two, three.
I will see you again later this year. And from Nevlet, Beth Hubbard. And she's one of the supporter students at Nevlet with positive life skills for learning and a lifetime of success.
Congratulations.
1, 2, 3.
And they're just great.
They are. Glad to go help. Yes. I didn't walk in. Okay, and Veronica Boxley from Nevlet also, and she's doing vocational enrichment for ESL. Me too. But she's thrilled. I will say, she said something about how many languages she had in her classes. That's quite a bit.
1, 2, 3.
Don't go to the back, let them keep talking.
Okay. And then we have Washington Elementary, Maggie Donovan. And she's going to do a Washington Steam Lab. Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you. And also at Washington, Lori Hartman for the ukulele experience.
One, two, three.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you so much again to Reese Foods, everybody that was awarded here tonight, teachers, principals, please go out to the foyer. I will take your check and we will take some more photos. Thank you very much.
Okay, members of the board, next up, we have 4 presentations for your information this evening. First one is an AP, Advanced Placement Report, and Mr. Hogan, our high school principal, is here to lead us in that presentation.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Hicks. It's an honor to be before you tonight, and I have to say that I'm very excited today. It was, as an aside, an honor to be before you and be the principal of Sherman High School. Today was our first staff meeting. I got to see the staff all together, and I couldn't sleep last night. It was very exciting. So as an aside, today's been a great day. I'm exhausted standing up here just because of all the work and having the teachers back, but it's been a very fantastic day. So I'm excited to stand up here and present to you the AP results from last school year. And Miss Susan Horowitz helped me put this together, and I just get to present up here. So thank you, Miss Horowitz. From last year, you can see I think this was a 9-year trend from the last 9 school years, and we did very well. And one of the things I talked with our staff about this morning was the opportunity to celebrate our successes, and this is certainly a celebration from the 14-15 school year up to last school year. So, of course, advanced placement exams are on a scale from 1 through 5, and 3 is passing, and 3, 4s, and 5. 4s and 5s are exceptional. So you can see here is the average advanced placement exam scores. So we are trending way up from the previous school year, which is definitely a celebration, and we'll continue to trend up as we dive more into supporting our students and what they need. These are the exams that were actually taken, the number on the left, school year on the bottom, so we're trending up from the previous school year. And as our enrollment continues to grow, I would expect that trend would even continue. That's our goal, is to get more and more students taking AP courses and then thereby taking the AP exams. And we want to explore what interests students to take AP. We want them to get more exposed to the rigor and the curriculum within the programs. And I think that'll only be enhanced by the position that our Associate Principal, Shelly Anderson, now holds, which she graciously gave us that opportunity to have at the high school. That's going to be one of her focus areas in her role here at the high school. And then this is the stat that I think is very telling of the successes of our teachers and our students in our district. Last year it was the AP test scores of a 3 or better. And you can see the very significant jump from 14-15 to 15-16, over 350 students. The test scores were a 3 or better, and we only want that to continue to climb as we compete on a state level and nationally with other AP scores. So something that we'll continue to trend upward and focus on and dive in with our students. A couple other little tidbits I prepared as I asked our lead counselor about Austin College and Grayson. Austin College currently accepts AP scores for credit at their college. It depends on the score, it depends on the topic, it depends on the subject area. So it may be a 3 for one, a 4 for another, and even a 5 for some, depending on the exam area. Whereas Grayson usually will grant on a 3. And then there's a House bill that passed, House Bill 1992, that I think is up for examination in 2019, that tries to regulate what courses are given credit for AP. And generally, without getting into too many specifics here, a 3 generally gives a student the opportunity to earn credit from most state institutions, which is good. So a little bit of insight there for what's going on in our area. But very excited for our students and our staff, and we'll continue to work on this and improve it for supporting our kids in the AP program.
Questions? I know in the prior year we slipped a little bit and then we rebounded. Is there any, you just arrived, so you can make up a story if you want.
I can.
Is there any observations regarding that? Did staff have anything to say today? Or?
I know it's a real focus. I know Miss Clark, Diane Clark, and her team work very hard. I'm very anxious to see this year with Miss Anderson, Diane Clark, our new testing 504 coordinator, Miss Tifa Tiller, of course our counselors. I know what their focus was last year, and what it's going to be this year is to continue to improve that. I think it starts at our levels below us, our schools below us, in supporting that and that mindset and just the rigor from day one, which is what we want to do for our kids. And it's for all kids, not just only the gifted, but for all kids, and exposing them from moment one. Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
If I might make an observation, so certainly steer me in a different direction if this is incorrect, but it appears we have more kids taking exams and more 3s and 4s and 5s
Yes,
on
sir.
top. So
That's correct.
not only more kids with accessibility for advanced coursework and credit, but they're scoring higher.
They are, yes, sir. That's correct.
something to be proud of.
Absolutely, it's a celebration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. Next up is a presentation on our Integrated Math and Science Institute. It's an innovative professional learning opportunity for our teachers and board members and members of the public. I think you'll be pleased with the quality of learning and the engagement of our staff.
Thank you. Good evening. I am here to share about that. It was Integrated Math and Science Institute. So they called and said we have so many slots for our Sherman teachers. So we just kind of advertised that out to the teachers. We had several participants. The Texas Mining Reclamation Association builds a grant, and Texas A&M Commerce and Austin College formed this institute. Participants got a $500 stipend. They got an iPad, supplies, childcare if they needed it, travel allowance, and all of that just to make it possible for them to be continual learners, all in getting hands-on experience that go along with the TEKS and that the standards that we have to help our kids know and understand in a fun, hands-on way. And I'm going to let them do all the talking, but they also could get 9 hours credit through A&M Commerce, which I thought was really good towards their master's if they wanted to pursue that. So that's all great. It went through the summer and it's going to continue on. So I want to introduce our participants here. We have Matthew Lowing from Sorry. Is he still? He's out there getting his picture made. He was also an award with Grease Foods. Darcy Hahn's not here tonight, right? Okay. Courtney Porter. Notice they have on their hard hats. Beverly Warren. Just over here, sure. Roger Oakley from Dillingham. And Christy Payne. And Marianne Russell. We have a lot of participants from Wakefield. Mr. Oakley is from Dillingham, and then Mr. Lowen is from Sorry. And I'm going to let Christy Payne talk because she has. Oh, we also need to cue the video because they created a video to show you so you can see a little bit of what they got to do.
tell from the video, we were all very excited about that explosion. We were the first camera teachers to ever get to experience the explosion out in the field. We got to visit 3 Texas quarries in Austin, and we had many hands-on math and science activities that correlate to our TEKs that we can use in the classroom. Tamara has provided useful classroom tools at no cost to the teachers or the school district. Barbara Sylvester will act as a coach in the classroom and visit each teacher twice a semester. And just as well, each teacher will attend CAST at no cost in November.
Thanks.
We really appreciate them using their summer to be lifelong learners. We appreciate that, and hopefully our kids will see it too, so thank you.
Great, thank you.
So I just want to commend the team. Thank you, teachers, for putting your energy into continuing to learn so that you can bring it back to our kids. That was authentic for you and a great partnership with our universities and with Tamara. And thank you for putting your time into that so you can make it real for our kids.
Thank you.
Okay, board members, next up is back to school update. And I think Dr. Bennett, was that, I think you were going to lead that?
I think so.
Okay.
We want to do a quick back-to-school update for you. We have a lot of things, obviously, a lot of things going on. I always say every Monday that rolls around in July, more folks come back, more things happening, and obviously today, with everybody being back, is an exciting time. We have around 102 new professional employees. As you can see, we've been doing training. We had new teacher induction this last week, wonderful week. Amy Porter and Lori Seelig, Susan Horowitz, and many other folks did just a wonderful job pulling that week together and preparing. It's not something that you can do just in a short amount of time. It takes preparation over months and months, and so they just did a wonderful job in pulling together some exceptional staff development. Any kind of staff development you have to provide during the summer, you have to start scheduling that in January if you're going to get good folks here, and we also used a lot of in-house folks. We have some exceptional talent here in Sherman ISD that can provide some wonderful training, and so we had just a great week last week. Also, we, for some reason, I scooted down a little bit too far, but I'll tell you, we fed the hound out of people last week. We had breakfast and lunch. If you showed up, you could have eaten breakfast and lunch. There's a couple of pictures of our partners and also our new teachers eating. On Monday, we had McAllister's breakfast, Easy Life Realty did lunch. We had Landmark Bank for breakfast and Domino's for lunch on Tuesday. TCTA sponsored a breakfast, Texas Classroom Teacher Association, and then Douglas Distributing did lunch that day. Thursday, TMC did a breakfast, our family dealership did lunch, and then SEF hosted a lunch, and then the wonderful Chamber Luncheon. Many of you guys attended that. These are great events, and so we just have just tremendous support in this community, tremendous support from our partners. And as you can see, culminating at the end of the week with the lunch, it was very well attended. It seems like there's more and more folks at that luncheon every year, and so it was a great event. And so we're so appreciative of our sponsors, our supporters, our community for everything that they do. And I think we communicated to our new teachers that we're so excited that you're here, and we are here for you not just today during lunch or during that week, but for the rest of the year to provide you with all kinds of perks and support and help. And then we received a lot of kudos after that. And some teachers even tell us that, hey, these aren't just first-year teachers coming from, we were able to steal some exceptional talent from other school districts. And they tell us, we've never been treated this way. Didn't you hear that a lot? We've never been treated this way in our previous district, whatever district that was. And so, well, I'll tell you what, that makes us feel good whenever we hear that. Teachers and leaders, instructional coaches, we had Lead Forward training, which is it's really one of our biggest kickoff training that we have with administrators and principals, administrators, lead teachers, instructional coaches, and we had that training hosted at Austin College. We're appreciative of the Wright Center. We really have to get out to the Wright Center because we don't have a facility here at this building that will equip for that many people, and so we appreciate that. Over 150 participants. We don't just have it here for us. We also have awesome teacher program, teacher ed students that show up for that, and then a few other districts will participate with us from time to time. Grilling out at the service center. You should come out to that next year. If you get invited, you have to come out. So some of the best chefs around with multi-talents on cooking Not sure if they had their food handler's license, but they handled food well. And so, as you can see here, Dr. Hicks, Scott Conrad, John Spradley cooked up, and other folks here. We had lots of photos. Mr. Miller was there that day, and we had some great food. So that was a wonderful lunch. An unrelenting passion for excellence. I just had to use that phrase. Obviously, we know that. That's one of our mottos here. And I put several of the events. If you've been by the high school, you've been by other places where we have students that are practicing, getting ready, it is amazing how hard they work early in the morning, hot as can be, and these guys, these kids, coaches, parents are out there and getting ready for the new year. You see all the different sports and band, and so I just had to put that out there. That is a wonderful back to school, and we had lots of photos. In service and week, we're already in it today, teacher work day. Tomorrow, we're going to have 7:30 breakfast convocation at Sherman High School. Please come out to that. 8:30 start for the convocation. 10 to 12, we'll have our annual Partners Fair, which is a wonderful event as well. 1 to 3:30, they'll be back at the campus for lots of trainings and meetings and things like that going on. Campus staff development on Wednesday, or campus staff development on Thursday, and then finish out with teacher work day, getting it ready for August 22nd. Wonderful day when everybody, all the kids come back. Here's just a look. You can pull this up on our website. It shows you those back to school, or those meet the teacher nights and orientations, and so you can check that out if you're interested in hitting one of those campuses. First day of school, August 22nd. We're looking forward to that. Have all the kids back, and we're hoping to have just a wonderful start to the new year. As you know, well, if you've seen, if you're connected with us and through social media, I just want to give kudos to Emily Parks and also Sean Vanderveer. If you're checking in, they have been posting like crazy, getting out and scheduling posts and taking pictures, and that just the energy that we see and about the wonderful things that are going on. Not everybody knows what goes on inside our buildings or on our fields, and so we have to post those pics. We have to talk about our story. We have to continue to put that out, and they're just doing a wonderful job. And other people are getting involved as well. I know I've taken some photos. I was really proud of a photo that I took the other morning. It was the TRE early voting at the high school, and I was able to take a shot of the photo. If you saw this wonderful photo, it was the TRE Sherman ISD early voting location, and the one-way sign was behind it. That's the traffic one-way sign, and I said, one way to early vote. It sounds kind of corny, but it was pretty cool to me. Too much caffeine that morning. So we have, here's just some stats, and I know this has changed. Facebook reach since July 1st, that's a lot. Photos taken, social media posts, 106, hours spent, TRE, 104, publications, 33, and this has increased since then, but look at that Facebook reach since July 1st, 132. That's 132,267, is that right? Wow. Amazing. So that's great. All right, TRE, you know about the TRE. We have a selfie campaign going on. The first selfie was taken at the early voting there with myself and Dr. Hicks. That is a selfie. He's got a long arm there. And so we encourage anybody else that's out voting, take that selfie, shoot it to us. We can always post that, give you some early voting locations that are going on. Fred Douglass is finishing up right now. And we've had well over, probably now, close to 600 vote through the mail-in and also every day throughout. So it's pretty good, doing well. Election day on the 27th, 7/7. So let your voice be heard. All right. Questions, comments? Feeling good?
Great.
A lot of energy? Good deal. Excellent.
There's a lot in here, and this represents a lot, but I would underscore what you just said about the promotion and marketing, not just of the TRE, but of the district. It's been an outstanding start to Emily's start, your staff. You've talked about this for a while, and it's great to see it happen. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
Noticeable difference in Facebook post. My wife is commenting.
We'll have to work on Hicks's selfie angles there, but
So maybe there's some professional development for the superintendent.
Could be. Could be. Selfie's cool.
I think it was to get my big ol' arm somewhere. Is that what you said?
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Okay, members of the board, the next item on our agenda is discussion of Make Education a Priority Month. This is, for us in this district, it's a continuation of the initiative that we started last April, where we opened up Sherman High School to community tours, and we took an opportunity to invite people to come in and see firsthand the wonderful things that are going on in our classrooms. Statewide, this is an initiative with the Make Education a Priority group to invite public elected officials into the schools. So we're going to mirror that with our plan to open up our schools, and at the same time invite others in the county and join others across the state in this process. So Dr. Smallspitz has a presentation for us.
Twice.
Twice in one
Wow,
day.
great.
I know. Put the rookie in front of everyone right away.
It's good not to just see Tyson's face.
That's right. Breaks the ice quite well. Well, good evening again. So what I'm going to share with you is a little bit of the history behind the program, and I just want to talk to you a little bit that it was initiated by two, the grassroots coalition was by two former educators. First one is Bobby Regis, a trustee from Aledo ISD, and Craig Rothmeyer, a former trustee in Carroll ISD. And their vision was basically to set out to engage elected officials in our communities to provide a better understanding of public education through firsthand experiences with our students and our teachers. And so when Dr. Hicks handed this to me, and I said, why not? We need to do this. So, their vision from these two guys is to establish a shared vision where every school campus in a Texas invite elected officials from every level of government to visit and experience firsthand great work taking place in our local public education facilities. And they have designated the month of October for this. And who's invited, and I did provide a list, and I have to do a shout out to Julie Mitchell. She's been my right arm with this process, and she's helped out. She knows everyone, and so that helps me out since I know no one. And so she's put together a really large list of what our vision is for where we want to take this, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. And so what we want to do is to be able to foster relationships and create positive experiences for these elected leaders to come in and actually visit our classrooms and see what our teachers are doing and provide tours and put together a real specific agenda for these individuals and have student panels set up so they can do some questions and answering sessions. And how will we do that? So basically we're going to create a flexible schedule, and I'm going to talk to you about what our vision is again, but basically I'm going to get right to it. So what we want to do is we want to go big. We want to make this a Grayson County effort. And so what we're trying to do is do a joint effort between Sherman ISD and, yes, the D word up the street, Denison ISD. But I think it would be really good to be able to bring us all together to engage all of these elected officials across the county and get them involved in our classrooms. And so we're working on a couple of schools in Sherman ISD and a couple of schools in Denison ISD. We want to involve our local PTAs to help us out with that too. So I'm working with a couple of presidents from some of our schools to get some of our parents involved to help get that message out. We're going to include community, media, and promote our students and teachers' achievements within the two schools that we select for the tour. In your packet, I have provided for you the list of the elected officials, and also a copy of the school priority month resolution, the acknowledgement of engagement. So what is the benefit to us if we do this? First and foremost, it promotes our district and our amazing educational system. It increases our elected officials' awareness of how wonderful we are. It will help foster our positive communication within our community as we consider a future bond election. Increases our parent community engagement for Sherman and Sherman ISD. And will support our strategic planning goal of engaging our community stakeholders to enhance our educational experiences for our student. So that's how it will benefit us, as well as sharing the great things we do. So my administrative recommendation would be for our school district to accept this and recognize that we would like to be a part of our make education a priority. So do we have any questions at this point?
You're telling she's going to make a recommendation, or you are making a recommendation?
I'm making a recommendation. I'd like
So we have a
I'd like to
recommendation.
approve, but I know
Trying
we
to follow
have,
the
that's gotta
slides
be in the
here.
consent action, part of the agenda, and I'm not sure, I think I'm up next. Dr.
We're gonna go
Hicks.
right to the action. We don't mess around here.
That's perfect.
No, it's an action.
We have we have a recommendation of a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions about this? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Thank you very much.
So can I give this to
Sure.
y'all? So here's the actual document that we'll have to sign.
I only sign what Debbie tells me to sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smolskis. So members of the board, this is well aligned to our effort to communicate with our public about the great things that are going on and also expand the accountability system from one word, one rating to the actual experiences that these legislators and elected officials will get to experience in our schools. It's also comes at a critical time as the state goes into its legislative session. We have an opportunity to share the good things that are going on personally with our elected officials so that they remember those experiences as they consider and vote on legislation.
If you didn't notice, we moved into action items. We just did some action, and now the next one is SEF. What is the next one?
Good evening. As I was sitting there, I thought, you know, I love doing this. I love being able to come and present money to the school board. It's one of my favorite times of year. And then I thought, wait a minute, like Circle's one of my favorite times of year, and SEF Run is my favorite times of year. I just have a lot of favorite times of the year. But this one in particular, we'll be able to fund, with your approval, $60,861 for projects at all of our campuses. And I'm really thrilled to be able to present these to you. A little background about this year. This past 2015 and 16 year, SEF raised throughout the year a little over $125,000 overall. The amount that went straight back to campuses was $58,007 from Circle. Major Saver was $20,000. Walk for Fitness program, which goes for PE equipment, was $2,640. So $81,435 went straight back to the campuses. Our endowment fund was increased by $22,006, and the rest of that remains in our asset account, which I believe will ultimately be earmarked for the endowment fund or earmarked for more projects. That'll be a finance decision, but that's kind of a nutshell of our 2015-16 year. So I hope 2016-17 is even better. We're starting out by providing a few thousand more in Circle funds, and we've got a wide variety of funds. We are so appreciative to the teachers that take their time to fill out the grant requests, submit them, run them by their principals, just like the Reese Foods. Those are the folks that are thinking all the time. They're thinking, well, maybe if I don't get the funds there, maybe I can get them here, and that's ideal. We've got ukuleles everywhere. You've heard it. Reese is giving money for ukuleles, and I was so excited that the committee approved the ukuleles at Dillingham. So we've got all kinds of string instruments. Our SEF board meeting in October, I asked Mr. Counts, could we hold that at Dillingham? Sure you can. And can we have a ukulele concert? And so he's working on getting that to present to us. So this evening, and if you have any questions about any particular projects or anything about any campuses and those requests, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
Any questions? We're good?
Okay, it would be the administrative recommendation that the board accept the grants totaling $60,861 for campus projects in the 2016-17 school year.
Recommendation, we have a motion? Second? Any questions, concerns? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Go spend the money.
All right.
Yes, next item. So, board members, the next item on the agenda is to consider change to our board operating procedures, and the recommendation that you have before you is to alter the procedure for placing items on the agenda and make it more simple to do and set the agenda so that rather than an extra meeting and an extra schedule, board members can simply submit those items that you wish to have on the agenda to President Miller or myself.
You have the adjustment language that we're looking at. Is there any question or discussion, or? Seeing none, do we have a motion that directs the superintendent to prepare a new operating procedure as presented?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Thank you, we'll take the amendment for the next meeting.
I'll have that ready for you.
That brings us to the consent agenda. There's a number of things on the consent agenda. Is there anything that you wish to pull out for separate discussion or review? Any items forward? It's all pretty straightforward things we have the honor of approving. All right, hearing none, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? All those pass, Mr. Superintendent. Items from closed.
We only have one item from closed dealing with personnel. You received information in your packet about resignations and retirements, and it's administrative recommendation to accept those, acknowledge my acceptance of those resignations.
We have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any concerns or questions? All in favor, aye? Opposed, nay? It's accepted. We have information provided each month to us from the staff. Is there any information that you want to pull out? Ask for any clarification on? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, aye? Opposed, nay? We stand adjourned. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.